1956 I was 8 years old and my older sister Gail was 10 years old. Our father started his business the year I was born in 1948. In 1956 he was elected president of the Independent Sewing Machine Dealers in the United States. In 1956 there were more sewing machines in American homes than there were TVs. A majority of the stay-at-home mothers purchased patterns for clothes and made a majority of the clothes for their family, particularly their children. Singer was like the Chevrolet of sewing machines, but the very best machines were made in Europe, the Necchi machines were made in northern Italy and the Elna machines were made in Switzerland. Ironically, my father may have bombed some of Necchi's factories during World War II and that they were machining weapons and not sewing machines. During the war, he had been a B-24 bomber pilot with 38 combat missions flown. The sewing machines that he sold in the 1950s were all metal, superbly manufactured. These precision sewing instruments were void of the hard plastic gears that my father would come to hate with a passion. Those plastic gears wore out within a few short years, where many Necchi and Elna machines are still in use today, after almost 70 years of use. 1950 Necchi and Elna sewing machine can be found on eBay and Facebook Marketplace. So our little family of 4 set out for the Big Apple in our 1952 Nash Rambler. It was a very exciting time for me and my sister, for we had never been anywhere to speak of. 900 miles, no interstate, just the Pennsylvania Turnpike. My first impression of New Jersey was that it was the stinkiest place on earth. The hotel was unbelievable, and I clearly remember attending the initial get-together for the convention. It was in the Chrysler Building where I spent the evening riding up and down with the elevator man. I would ride up to 50 something floor, get a ginger ale from the open bar, and dreamed of becoming a big shot on Wall Street. I enjoyed that evening more than Coney Island. Here's the crux of this little story about a brother and sister who went to New York City, stayed in their room without a chaperone while their parents went to a big banquet, and were rewarded for their good behavior. That reward was a trip to the famous F.A.O. Schwarz toy store in the Big Apple. To the best of my recollection, my sister and I were allowed a $20 budget for a toy or toys from this fabulous store. I found an all-metal, no plastic, tripod machine gun with a spring mechanism that launched little wooden bullets with little rubber tips on them, and I was ready to conquer the world. Those little bullets were shot out of that toy machine gun with enough ferocity to easily put out an eye or two, so much for product safety in those days. Now please pay attention, because this is the coup de grace of this story. My 10-year-old sister spent her $20 on an 8-foot bull whip. This was no toy. 2 years later, when I was 10 and my sister was 12, her reward for good behavior in that hotel room would clearly come to the forefront. Please enjoy my little presentation created with a program called Instituto that utilizes some great artificial intelligence tools. Let's fast forward to the summer of 1958, when my oldest friend Denny Totten, my next door neighbor, and I had gone to the city park to capture crawdads in the big creek that flowed through the Olney City Park. A majority of Olney's famous white squirrels live in the park. Denny and I became friends when we were about 2.5 years old. Regretfully, he passed away this past November, likely from a stroke. So I dedicate this YouTube video to his memory. He was an outstanding friend, a wonderful human being, and simply an outstanding citizen in my hometown of Olney, Illinois. Now that I have set the stage, here's my little creation that was made right around Valentine's Day.
In the heart of a sun-dappled forest, 2 10-year-old boys are immersed in their favorite pastime, searching for crawdads in the cool, bubbling waters of a secluded creek. The banks are steep, creating a natural fortress for their adventures, where imagination runs wild and time stands still. Laughter fills the air as they wade through the clear, shallow stream, celebrating each tiny victory with the capture of another crawdad. A group of older boys, around 12 or 13, with mischief in their eyes and malice in their hearts, descend upon the creek. They tower over the younger duo from the banks, hurling insults and mocking their innocent game. The leader of the older boys steps to the front, glaring down at them with disdain, as if asserting an undeserved dominion over this cherished haven. Suddenly, there's a crack in the tension, a thin, sharp sound slicing through the air. A bullwhip coils around the neck of the sneering leader. His expression shifts from smug to startled within seconds. With a swift, unexpected yank, The ground beneath him disappears, and he's toppled into the creek like a fallen tree. The source of this fierce defense emerges as the younger boy's sister, standing firm and resolute on the bank, holding the whip with confidence and an impressive display of protective prowess. Her eyes are fierce, mirroring the indignation in her heart. Without breaking a sweat, she drags the floundering bully through the water, the creek echoing with his cries and pleas for mercy that go unanswered. For nearly 100 yards, she moves with purpose, teaching him a lesson in respect he won't soon forget. The forest bears witness to this unexpected turn of events, where courage and loyalty trumped the shadows of intimidation. Today, the creek wasn't just a playground. It was a stage for a tale of bold defiance and unwavering bravery. As the water flows gently on, it carries with it the whispers of a victory, small in size, but immense in spirit. Achieved by two boys and their formidable sister.